All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about why I personally believe Moderna or mRNA is the single most important stock in these current markets. All right, so as always, I have to preface this by saying this is just my opinion, okay? You guys always have to remember that no matter what video of mine you're watching, it's all just my opinion, okay? This is not financial or investment advice. It's just my opinion based on the data and knowledge I have available to me. Okay, so always go on to do your own research, do your own due diligence, and come to your own conclusions and make your own decisions, all right? So always remember that. All right, so that said, a little more housekeeping. If you guys go on to gain any value from this video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys gave the video a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. And subscribe if you... sorry about that, the chart just tweaked out. Subscribed if you're not already. As always, if you are, I really appreciate that. So yeah, that said, let's get right into it, okay? So Moderna, we have Moderna stock open right here. We'll actually look at the chart last while I just give a little rant, probably, while we look at the charts. All right, so we'll cover that last, but I actually want to cover these two news articles, which are the fundamentals, the fundamental driving factors behind today's price action. Okay, so we'll look at this one first. If you guys are following the channel, following Moderna, I assume you've seen this already, considering Moderna was just the talk of the town today. So I'll just read it off for you guys, okay? And we'll go over it together. All right, Moderna skyrockets 39% after its early trial of a coronavirus vaccine produced antibodies in all 45 patients. All right, so great news again. I'm sure a lot of you guys have looked into this already, but if not, these are some, as far as I could find, these are the best kind of just key points, the key takeaways. You guys can, as always, you guys can always go on to look deeper into this, but I'm just going to read off these key points, okay, unless you guys know what I think. All right, so Moderna announced on Monday that all 45 patients in an early trial of its coronavirus vaccine candidate produced antibodies that could help protect them against COVID-19. Shares of the company surged 39%. They did correct, and we'll cover that in a little bit. The company is aiming to have a vaccine ready for emergency use in the fall. Yeah, so that pretty much sums it up. They had a great showing of 45 patients. It is a small test group, but that all 45 patients, if they had a 100% hit rate on this, that is obviously 100% hit rate is a very good hit rate. So that is promising. Again, we will have to see how this develops further, but as of right now, Moderna, the reason Moderna itself and the company of Moderna and their project is the most important, as opposed to like Novavax, Inovio, some of these other players in the space, is because they are currently releasing the most tangible, realistic news and progress to date. Okay, so I've heard a lot of arguments for the other companies, and some people don't like Moderna. That might be a bias because you are not invested in it, but in my mind, in my opinion, Moderna is releasing the most tangible, most realistic progress and news on that progress. Okay, so that's why Moderna sits above all the other players in this sector, in my mind, and the market is rewarding it for that. Okay, so the reason I think it's the most important company as of right now in the current markets is because of this. What I'll cover in this article. Okay, so CNBC article titled "Dow Surges more than 900 points in best day since early April amid hope for coronavirus vaccine." Okay, so Wall Street logged its best day in over a month on Monday as news from a Moderna trial stoked optimism about a potential coronavirus vaccine. It goes on to talk about just how well all the markets did today. Again, S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, all up around 3%. So that for those big sectors, those big players like that, that's a pretty big move. So yeah, right there, 3.9%, almost 4%. That is a very solid move for the Dow Jones, the S&P. So that's great, and that is just reflecting general optimism on Moderna. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into some of the deep stuff. You guys can go on to read about that. There are plenty of articles right now. Again, this is the talk of the town. There's a lot of more in-depth articles that you guys can look at about the actual tech and actual methods that they're using, and some of the like more specific results from that trial. But again, I don't want to touch on that right now. I'm going to try to keep this brief. Okay, so again, we'll look at the charts. We'll rant. Moderna had an amazing day. Again, Moderna, like I've been saying, it acts as both a hedge to the market. So when the markets are down, I think from what I've observed, Moderna does well when the markets go down, and when the markets go up, Moderna does well. And today was a little different because Moderna is actually being attributed as the primary factor, that news, which does make sense, of a vaccine, of a sense of normalcy coming back, that the rest of the market did well too. Okay, so that's why a lot of these markets right now are based on hope and optimism, okay, which is great. That is in our nature as a human species, is to be optimistic, to think the best of the current situation that might be overall negative and seem very negative, but we are innately optimistic, okay? So that's why the rest of the markets went up, is because we have news of a vaccine. It brings the sense, or the hope of some sense of normalcy, to come back within our world, and that's great. And I am glad about that. I'm glad from a fundamental perspective. That's awesome that Moderna is making such solid and real progress on this vaccine, and that people are being optimistic. Always be careful to not be overly optimistic, whether it is the stock price itself or just on everything in general. Again, it's great to be optimistic, but it's not great to be irrationally optimistic. Okay, so keep a sound mind. Again, this news that Moderna released about again, these trials are showing antibodies in these 45 patients is very bullish. It is very real. It's very tangible. But always remember that bad things can happen, and this streak could end. Again, it's always just I'm personally optimistic. I just kind of want to get the point across to not be overly optimistic and not discount the possibility that something could go wrong. Okay, so that said, that was just kind of the psychological side of this rant, but let's look at the charts, okay? So this is a long-term chart. We'll actually go to today. This is the hourly. So yeah, Moderna killing it today. You can see this gap, similar to the Novavax gap I talked about in yesterday's video, the Waves Weekly. So this is a big old gap. It makes perfect sense based on the news they released, but let's go to like the 5-minute, okay? So let's get a better look at this. Okay, so as you can see here, again, it started, Moderna started the day at $86. So like that CNBC article stated, up 39%, or this, not CNBC, but whatever this one was, 39%. Great opening, immediately corrected. A lot of players with big holdings got out. Again, this stock is really playing out this bubble scenario that we've been talking about on the channel here lately, okay? So it continues to bubble up. Again, it's not just our predictions. We're getting super lucky and super fortunate with the news they're releasing. So this is completely attributed to the news. This is not just a bubble, but I still do hold that bubble theory in my mind. I think this will continue to go up. Again, we'll see. Always remember it can happen, but in my mind, like, there's so much good news coming out about this company that I cannot see it going down significantly. That is, I think it will be volatile on the road up. I do think it will be significantly higher over the coming months, but it could be volatile. So if you guys are invested, maybe just keep an eye on volatility. Don't be scared if there is volatility there. Again, the more this pops off, the more traders are going to enter the space and cause that volatility. There's going to be a lot of high profile players, a lot of market makers who can actually move this stock as traders entering the space. So there could be some volatility on the way up. But in my mind, unless Moderna just completely flops and releases news that the vaccine is, again, just a flop, like it just completely bunked out and failed, I can't see the stock going down significantly. I can only see it rising. And again, humans, we're innately optimistic. People want optimism. People want this country to reopen. People want the world to reopen and feel a sense of safety when we do reopen. Okay, so when you're betting on Moderna, it's kind of like you're betting on optimism, okay? And I like that. Again, people are very emotional, especially on the retail side of this. A lot of traders, a lot of newer traders are entering the space. And it can be good and bad sometimes. The bad side is you're highly emotional and you will just hop on these stocks. So for the more educated, the more veteran investors and traders, you know that that's coming, and that is what I personally see coming. I see a lot more retail investing in this, and actually a lot more big money coming into this too, because of just all this tangible, real news that Moderna is releasing, okay? And again, just to kind of sum it all up, the reason that this is the most important stock in the markets right now is because it is creating a vaccine that will then lead to the reopening, and that restarts our economy. Okay, so that's kind of it, just the theory in a nutshell. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. So yeah, if you guys think I missed anything, or I should have talked about something else, or you guys want me to cover anything else, always feel free to drop a comment below. Love talking shop with you guys, especially right now, like such exciting times, just because we've been talking about this so much on the channel. Like, if you guys have been following the channel, this is like all we've been talking about pretty much for the past for the past few weeks now, almost months at this point. So things are really paying off for us. That's super awesome. A lot of you guys are hitting me up saying that you're just glad to be a part of this community and glad to have been on this bandwagon early. Okay, and I'm so happy for you guys. All right, so again, leave a like, subscribe if you're not already. Drop a comment down below if you want to talk about anything at all, and we'll call it there, guys. Okay, so until next time, always remember, you guys, take action, make waves in this world. Peace. Moderna, baby, popping off.